nhớ rong ý chung này chỉ cái tiếng trả sai mà theo chùa cho lần cho tu lúc nào cũng tôi cộng Hmong Mediation lưu workshop nhớ trong đợt này rong share của đồng chíประธานnhớ trong đợt này của cho có là cộng khó cái chiết hạ choประธานกับประธานเคมีจีนยี่เจ้าlưu workshop nàyยาละจีประธานรง share ว่าเจ้าเราก็รู้เชื่อก็รู้ใจยงว่าก็ตัดต่ออยู่ไม่รู้ว่า short 是กูจะ真个了ถาไปเราหลุดก็จะต้องจ่ายเฉยๆเดียนู่นนี่ว่าชิ้นนี้ตัวนั้นน้อยวันที่จะปล่อยเจ้าก็ให้นักการยังรงจงมองเฉยๆแต่การเดินนะเจ้ามันจะจุกมันนุกก็
เลยเนี่ยตรงนี้จงมองเฉยๆตรงเช่นนั้นว่าจีนเนี่ยที่เนี่ยเรากงเป้ที่นั่นว่ากุยพระท่านอาจจะยังท่ากุยละแค่เราตรงนี้เดียวนู่นน่ะเป้ว่าใช่ว่าจี
ประธานนะถักเคเจลแต่นู่นนี่ว่ารู้ว่าชาติชิ้นนี้ตัวนั้นนะ
นู่นน่ะเป้รู้ชอบมาเป้แค่ทราบว่าเนี่ยนะเป้มุ่งกับมีเดียเป้ว่าตอนเราเสิร์ฟเราว่ามุ่งกับมีหลังเตะเลยเจ้าว่าก็แค่เฉยๆเดียวเช่นู่นน่ะเป้ลูกของน่ะเต๋อกูจะเอาหล่อที่ที่ชี้แค่เป้เสิร์ฟเราได้จีได้จีนั่นขนมในขันตะจีจังขันตะนั้นเป้ว่าใช่
ถ้าเป็นจะเคเช่แต่ฉันนั่นจะเราลูกของเขานั่นเองเรื่องที่เราตัวประธานอะไรตัวจอยจะเราลูกของเขาที่จะเอาโป้ก็เคก็จะนึกจ่าเสด็จก็เสด็จป่ะ
อยากเกิดว่าลูกของนั่นเจว่าตัวประธานแต่ฉันนั่นเจอยากกูตัวจืด
อันนี้ทำเป็นที่จะไปจับโป้นึงมัวโป้จงบริจาคเรา
นั่นเป้ว่ามัวโป้ว่าเดลีว่าเขาหน่อยจะเป้มัวลีว่าจุกเลย
ประธานเคมินจีก็เทียก็จอมโป้เนี่ยเราลูกของเขาในเตเรนุนี่ว่าเนี่ยเราอยากว่าได้ชีก็คือต้องจ่าเสด็จเป้าเทีย
เป้ลูกของนั่นเจเป้จะกระทั่งโป้เจเป้ว่าได้หลงนั่นเจเป้หล่อชื่อลูกของเทียหล่อเทียนี่เทียตัวลูกของเทียว่าชื่อใส่ใจตรงแต่ลูกของ
ประธานถ้ามีจีจะลูกโป้เนี่ยลูกของเขาเนี่ยลูกของเขาว่าขอบล้นดูเทียหอเดินเต็มมึงเทียแล้วก็ถ้าเคมินจีเราคือต้องจ่าเสด็จเป้า
เป็นเรื่องของน้อยเจว่านะเป็นยาอิรูmediation น้อยเจว่าลูมองหาเดียชิคอสอย่างชิคอสเจว่าเป็นจะว่าลูกของน้อยจะเป็นมัวจะมีเรื่องรัสเซียว่ามองหาเดียจะขับรถคันถุยกูจียาเดียจะว่าอีอย่างเป็นจียาลูขวดเลยเราฝุ่นนะเจว่าเป็นมัวจะมีเรื่องเราเลยกู้มุกตาเลเซนเราขับรถคันถุbây giờ khả năng bộ thì bây giờ tổ chức công sự bây giờ chúng ta chạy là khắp lối cảnh đồ, bây giờ mua cho bộ cho là chưa được công họ, còn là công nó chưa khó, thì bây giờ khả năng bộ là chỉ ít chế đó rồi cho tổ chức rồi là bỏ bây bỏ cũ là khả năng bộ là cũ sát thì tới lúc công nó chỉ quỹ tụ phát hành của họ tụ tập bao nhiêu thì đó chỉ cũ là tụ phát hành của chỉ một lại xin theo của chủ trước công sự của tụ tập bao nhiêuจะตัวปล้นตัวจะมีเดียวแต่ไปอยากทำโบจะช่วยเราว่าเขียนลูกของเขากับลูกของเขาเนี่ยตัวเขาไปอยากทำโบตัวสอบปล้นตัวแท้ว่าหายสอบปล้นตัวแท้เดียวที่จะสอบปล้น
ประธานจิตเท่านี้จะต่อเรามุลูกของเขาแล้วก็เราประธานเราเนี่ยนี่ตื้อว่าจะเวอร์ชันเราต่อปัจจุบันแล้วล่ะ
ที่เราไปลูกของเราจะไปชิดเอาล้วนนะชิดเอาล้วนจำไปเตะว่าไปว่าพาริโลฟาริสโลของเราเป็นอ้วนละแต่ชิลเวอร์ชันนั้นจะเป็นชิดเอาล้วนเดี๋ยวที่เลยกูที่เลยว่าเราประทานต่อว่าเรียบร้อยนะกูที่สาเดี๋ยวลูกของเราลูกของว่าจังเราเป็นมุ่งกันไม่ดีจะป้อเรากูป้อเที่ยจะชิป้อเที่ยจะว่าเป็นว่าป้าตอนเราอยากเราว่าเป็นมุ่งนั่งเที่ยกูก็ถ่ายชิตาที่ชีอีเปรี้ยวว่าเนี่ยนะตัวอีดีละชีตัวเนี่ยวิจื้อเนี่ยมาถ่ายสิอีลูกของเราเป็นลูกว่าชอบเนี่ยโอเคสุดเลยเดี๋ยวเป็นก็สุดเลยตัวใช้เป็นหมดพลังงานตัวอย่างที่กูป้าตัวกูที่ต้องใจจงเลยแค่เดียวสุดพอ
ประธานเกินน้อยคือที่นึกจ่าเฉลยเลยสาติโตในลูกของเขาเลยสาตัวจะเก็บป้าในลูกของเขาในเลยยังเชียร์ตอนนี้ลิจ่าเทเลยว่าตัวก่อนนี้ป้าเลยลิจ่าตัวลิจ่า
เป็นลูกของเราเจ้าเนาะว่าเป็นเขาเชิญเนาะเจ้าเนาะเป็นลีดอร์แคนาดาว่าเป็นว่าไรสตรีเป็นอย่างนั้นการเนี่ยต้นเทียเก็บป้าเนี่ยเป็นมั่วออฟฟิศเทียมั่วฟงที่ชีแล้วกูให้ว่ากูจะจีตัวประธานซื้อแต่ชีเนี่ยหูลูกเราต่อแต่ชีเนี่ยหูเราว่าเป็นตัวอีดีว่าเนี่ยมันชื่อต่อนะ
ประธานเกินนะปุ๊ชแต่ยาที่จังกูจีตอนนู้นก็สาให้โอเคชินใจรู้เชื่อนะ
我做到个点家话，你好弄在那天个叫呀，别的可能这以前呢，不打过呢，你包的去包的呀，这河北的我上那啥开那些店， bé cũng chưa lọt phần ta chỉ bé giờ cho vào lúc họ là khó cái tiếng trả sự nên từ từ họ xả tiền này họ mua cái nhiều xe là gì à nên xả tiền này khó cho tạo bắt tạo chế nên xả tiền này họ tuân để bên nó bé cũng nên khó thế lúc còn nó này chỉ giờ tiền giờ và tụ plon thôi chứ giờ tiền này để cứ xin cái là gì này cứ xả tiền cái này cái trả tạo bắt tạo chế à để rồi này cứ xả tiền này một đôi cái tiếng trả hayแต่สิ่งนี้หาเดียวว่าเนี่ยหาชีสามโมโตกินกิจจะหายเนี่ยหาตัวที่เป็นอะไรเป็นเขาตัวนี้อย่างที่เป็นว่าจะว่าเกิดเดียวเราไม่ได้เสียหรอกเขาเนี่ยก็จะอ้ำโอนนั่งเรากูเนาะเขาเนี่ยเขาเนี่ยหาสารเนี่ยสารเดียวเนี่ยเรียกว่าเนี่ยที่สิเสียเลยนั่นแหละนี่มันตัวจบไปแล้วกูต่อจะไปเชื่อเราฝุ่นไปเชื่อเดียวเนี่ยอยู่จุดตัวซะนะอย่างเนี่ยว่าต้องเชื่อตัวนั้นจะไปกูปั้นเนี่ยเดียวเนี่ยเดียวนี่ต้องเชื่อตัวนี่มันเนี่ยมันสีมันกินกิจจะตัวตัวเนี่ยเต้ว่าnên là tới một giờ chiến là cũng hay là dùng thế, để khai cái sản phẩm
ở trong đó bắt đầu
có lẽ ở trong này
cho nên chỉ sẽ đợi thọ khả năng là chỉ bên một sai lúc vừa sát chuẩn gì mới và trong đó có là sai của khó cái chỉ thà đó bắt đầu sau nào ở trong đó.
Thank you for having me today. I was asked to come today to speak a little bit about the history of the mediation program in the Hmong community, and I'm very honored to do that. My name is Tobin Lay, and I represent Mediation Center. I'm currently the Chief Operating Officer for Mediation Center. Mediation Center is a long-standing organization in Minnesota. I believe 1981 is when it was organized. It was at the front of mediation when it was starting in the courts here in Minnesota. So, a little bit of history about mediation in the Hmong community. In the late 1990s, Shia Lo, who was a recent law graduate and legal counsel to the then Hmong Council, worked with Professor Amy Gourlay and Jim Coben from Hamlin University School of Law to train the Hmong Council in mediation, so one representative from each clan. The idea was to train clan elders in mediation to qualify them to work with members of the Hmong community that found themselves in the legal system. Just curious, how many here today were part of that group, the original group?
3 of us, my daughter and Kosaman and myself.
Okay.
3 of us.
So these were pioneers in your community in mediation. This is a big deal. And I don't think enough people realize what a momentous experience or event that this was. But the work that they started and that you all are participating in now is so important. And because it's so important to the community, I think it's important to understand what the event that took place that prompted all of this work to begin in the community. So likewise, in the 1990s, there was a great tragedy in the Hmong community. It was a family dispute between a husband and wife that were divorced. And they found themselves in the court system alone without a representative in the court system to guide them through the differences of the cultural differences that they expected and that the court system expected. And they didn't have the assistance from clan assistants. And so because they found themselves in this situation, the problem that they were facing festered, became worse and worse. And eventually it led to the wife of that couple strangling 6 of their children. And it rocked the community. And so that's when the community came together and decided that they needed to do something to try and curb this from happening again. And that's where mediation came from in this program. So imagine how this story would have been different if at that time there had been court-qualified mediators that understood the legal system and the culture and could reach out to this couple and help them through their travel through the legal system, right? Now sometimes you can't help because these tragedies will happen before they get to the court system, right? Mm-hmm. So it can't help in every case, but imagine those cases that do find themselves in court and you're there, you're a representative of the court and you can help, and how different that could have this story could have turned out. Many immigrants in the US find themselves in cultural in similar cultural differences when they come to the U.S. There's no school that teaches you that points out these differences and tries to teach you how to do, how to bridge those two differences, right? And so without someone experienced in the infrastructure to help them through those nuances, they can find themselves in real trouble quickly. And then they're left confused and at risk to legal consequences that they're not prepared for. So what is a mediator exactly? And how are they different than attorneys? So a mediator, many mediators are attorneys, but having a law degree is not a prerequisite to being a mediator. Unlike traditional courtroom battles where the attorneys will battle for their clients, mediators help create a space for conflicting parties to negotiate and determine their own resolutions. A judge is not likely to know or apply cultural values to their judgments, but parties from the same culture can apply those values to their own resolutions. And a court mediator who understands those cultural values as well can help create space in a mediation for those values as well as an understanding of the expectations of the court system. Members of a religious group called Society of Friends, popularly known as Quakers, are famous for their mediation skills. As Adam Curl put it, a Harvard professor, because of the fundamental beliefs that there is that of God in each person, Quaker conciliators treat the people with whom they are talking with particular respect and attention. They still the noise and confusion of their own thoughts and emotions and open themselves up completely to what the other person is trying to say, or perhaps feeling without expressing. This kind of listening has a very real effect on the person being listened to. They become calmer and more receptive and open to ideas. You as community leaders are similarly placed as those Quaker conciliators. According to an explanation of the Hmong culture that I found on the Community School of Excellence website, any disputes or issues between two Hmong people or different clans will typically be settled by clan leaders. Each clan leader is responsible for handling conflict negotiation and occasional maintenance of religious rituals. So not only do you have an understanding of your community's values, but you already have a role within your community to assist in conflict negotiation within your clans. I want you to give that serious thought. You have an advantage in your community that your peers outside your community don't have. It's very, very important to understand that. Tragedies like the one I mentioned from the 1990s, they're not going to end. In fact, I know of two that happened just this year in the Hmong community, right? But mediation is only one way to make a difference. And I know there's other ways that are being sought within the community as well. And those should continue to exist. But this is one way that we can aid. And so that those families, when they do find, or individuals, when they find themselves in the legal system, can have the proper guidance to navigate through that system. So I encourage you to remember why you're here today and remember the past and not lose it, because it's very important. And remember the unique opportunity that you have to affect change in your community. And in closing, I just want to highlight some characteristics of a good mediator. Michael Young from the UK is known by many as one of the great mediators in history. He was instrumental in the ending of apartheid in South Africa in the 1990s. He said of his role in that conflict, it was their country, their problem, and they've got to resolve it. I was a signpost, a helper, a creator of space. I was there to keep the dialogue going and build a consensus as it went on. I only had to negotiate each player, each point of the agenda. I don't need to be visible to get out of bed. Instead, I've got to be able to make something happen. I don't have to have people pointing cameras at me. It's not modesty, I just don't work like that. In life, you can make things happen without standing on a mountain waving a flag. In delicate issues, you need to take people away from the theater, away from the hurly-burly, the public grandstanding, and just make them behave as ordinary human beings around an agenda. I feel utterly privileged. It's not false modesty to say that I was a lucky guy. I have some skill set, sure, but it couldn't have been anyone. You've got to be in the right place with the skills, hustling. But it was an amazing experience, and if I do nothing else in my life, I will at least feel like I've done something. You have done something, and I commend you for that. And I encourage you to continue to do this important work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We just have a PowerPoint.
Okay.
And talking a little bit about the Hmong American mediation program, talking about mediation program. And some of the community members get to know. And talk about the difference between mediation and arbitration. The mostly parents that come to countries.
Gì là phá giải?
And the mediation center, it handles both, right?
Trả lời đi. Trả lời đi. Cool lah. Oh, okay.
Thì đây, đúng rồi. Đi, để chuyển sau đó, đi làm sao? Sau đó, sau đó. Dạ, dạ, có lẽ. Dạ. Dạ, should be okay. Probably, here is the Hmong American Mediation Center's logo. Professor Amy helping me design.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Hả?
Không sao để về còn cái rồi. Không phải về thế nào. Thì nó còn vào thì phát ra tiền. Còn một cái presentation.
So here is we talk about the history of the Hmong American Mediation Center. Các hai đồ. Yeah, yeah. Các nhà làm ăn của
So this is a little history about the Hmong American Mediation Center. So it was first, the Hmong American Mediation Center first started the formal dispute resolution discussion in the late 2009. The conversation originally started when the design with the traditional Hmong aging plans was declined, serving Hmong and Southeast Asian family conflict due to the legal term and ideology differences. To address this issue, the former General Veng Pao appointed Neng Xiong to establish a Hmong Mediation Center. Mainly, this organization is to provide the services of family conflict resolution for Hmong and Southeast Asian families. Therefore, Nyevuchu formed a thoughtful group of community members, including Ramsey County judges, professors from Hamline University School of Law, Hmong attorneys, Hmong community leaders, and the former General Bing Tao began meeting at Ho Ho Restaurant in Eastside St. Paul, Minnesota, just a week before Thanksgiving in 2010 to revitalize culturally specific family mediation. Thus, the discussion included members of the Hmong clans, as well as the endorsement of the late Major General Bing Tao, attorney Sia Lor, Professor Amy Gourlay of Hamline University School of Law, and Ramsey County's family chief judge, Gary Bastian, and many more. Thereafter, the Hmong Mediation and Arbitration was incorporated as a program for the Mediation Center at Hamline University. Once Hmong American Mediation Center incorporated the mediators and training was completed, the invitation was once again extended to Major General Bing Pao, several professors at Hamline University, and local attorneys of Hmong descent and Ramsey County judges, and convening at a gathering to officially launch the Hmong American Mediation Center Incorporated on November 23rd, 2011.
So this is the history of the Hmong American Mediation Center. Đây có tao thì có chỉ mất xài rồi không? Yeah, okay, yeah. Thì có cho yeah.
You stated.
So this is the time General Wang Pao, we have a meeting. General Wang Pao including Hmong attorney and professor, judges, and Hmong committee leaders. We all come together and talk about to establish a Hmong American Mediation Center. So, cho nó, I talk about Hmong, I explain to this. This is the founder and co-founder, and the Hmong American Mediation Center. Thì cho bác tao nói cho giờ trong này đi đời thiết cho chỉ trả lúc học đó này. Chỉ bác tao thì giờ cho sơn ra lúc học thiết cho môn trì. Thì cho tao nói thì sẽ đi khó xa. Mãi tông hơn đi xa khám này thì sẽ dân ư nhà bị gia. Thì Neng Xiong là xong phá. Thì cho nó cho lòng cho vào được lúc có không nào chỉ chẳng có. Thì cho sát tỏ thì cho nó sơn cả theo cho môn ba chú thì xử lý xin là không gặp bỏ Professor Amy Gourlay, Judge Gary Bastian, Judge Cohen, Judge Roland Farsi, Attorney Sia Law, Attorney Fu Wu, Attorney Macy Yang, Attorney Wang Law, Attorney Tony Jones, and Professor Jim Colby. Thì tao nói cho ba chú. Đây là the board president. Thì thưa tụi bác Hàn, this is the board president. The first board president is Khoa Sao Mai. Here's bác Hàn Khoa Sao Cao Sở. Here's the first board president of the Hmong American Mediation Center. The second is bác Hàn Mai Tong. Sáng rồi ha. She's the second board president. And the third one, Rong Kong, he's not here today. So therefore, John Yatao, he's the current board president of Hmong American Mediation Center. So here is the picture that we training and talk about to establish the Hmong American Mediation Center. So there's a board member, they have a Chanya Tao is the board president, Nyen Kuwu is the vice president, Dr. Nachawa, and board member Tong Ra Tho, not Tong Lee, Tommy Tho, nhà nâng hà Stephanie Yang sáu thọ đồ vư cho nó là cho bộ là cho nó cho mediator chị mua máy tông thơ chị có sao mà sẽ những vư mainly Peter Law, Troy Jones my law her tôi bỏ khang and nhà vị chú is myself. So we have a volunteer staff. We have me, myself, Karen Jones, Marina Her, here's Marina Her, Jody Truth, Jody's,
She left.
she left, and what you are, Ka. So we have advisor like Neng Xiong, Senator Attorney Công chức Phụ Nữ, so this advisor, board advisor. So Hmong American Mediation Center, we work partnership with Mediation Center, which is Jim Tobin. He's the executive director, right? For Mediation Center, right? See?
Yeah, well, with him.
Oh, okay. And the partnership with Restorative Justice Community Action, Community Council, Community Mediation and Restorative Service, and Community Mediation Minnesota, St. Paul Police Department, and they send the juvenile case to us. Yeah. Last week they sent us 3 cases. Yeah. Juvenile court. Yeah. Okay. So Hmong American Mediation Services, we have a family mediation, civil mediation, arbitration, and a restorative justice service for juvenile. So this is the program that we provide. Okay.
So for the services provided, litigation can be a long, frustrating, and expensive experience. So given the choice, most of us prefer to avoid litigation if at all possible. 2 most widely used forms of alternative dispute resolution, also known as ADR, to avoid litigation are mediation and arbitration. Each process is distinctive. If you are considering using either of these alternatives to traditional litigation, knowing their similarities and differences is essential to choosing the right process for your specific situation.
Okay, vậy cô cũng có thay lòng không dặn cho tới thì cái hạt long đồ hậu sản trở đi cho cái gia lý cho nếu suy sơn để sáu xia thì không nhận đâu giờ lên đó tí năng phần đầu thì đi chỉ sai một hạt long sản sản thì chỉ trả một ở nhà xử lý giờ hạt long chấp long đồ chỉ tao một hạt long sản để xử lý giờ hạt long mediation thì arbitration ở giờ cái hạt long đồ nó nâng cô shit sợ thì giờ coi vô xã hạt long đồ mediation là do arbitration nâng chuẩn chắc hẳn giờ có bao có họ nó shit sợ lịch giả có theo lịch bao xảy họ tư là đợi ở trong blog.
Mediation is a confidential legal process that uses a neutral third-person party to act as a facilitator to the agreement, but not a decision maker. It is used to avoid settling a dispute in court. The mediation process is informal and does not follow the rigid rules of evidence or procedure used in litigation. The parties to the dispute are in control. Ultimately, success depends upon the parties' ability to reach an agreement. The mediator stimulates discussion between the disputing parties to help negotiation process and move the dispute toward a resolution. Mediation is a non-binding process. It does not restrict the ability to pursue the dispute further unless the parties reach an agreement and choose to be bound by the agreement's term.
Mediation do ý họ thật sẵn đầu plong tu của mong với cơ nhau trọng đông thở tiệt sĩ dù tê tay mạnh dù chỉ tờ trầu lăng tư bố thiết bỏ thiết sĩ từ cái chữ lâu là do tổ nền tôn ra chỉ mong lăng tư to là của tù chạy lù là do khó ở đó chịu lâu có một cái học sinh thì khi nâng chỉ do tổ chức gì đâu ở đó chịu lâu mediation lý chân thành chỉ hãy trở lý cái trái lý cho lý hại hậu sản ở đó chịu lâu do ở đó mua chạy là do lưu rõ là chưa cỡ trong lâu long tu yếu ta thia yếu tia yếu chủ yếu ở đó chụp lâu sẽ chỉ xia thia bỏ rộng tụ mediator là do tụ năng nhân đôn ra cho do ban trò ở đó chụp lâu suy thả có một chờ học sáng sứ mediation chỉ một trái yếu chụp lâu để chỉ do ở đó bỏ rộng là mà mua trong lâu sau thia yếu trở đi chụp lâu trong
Arbitration is also a confidential legal process used to avoid settling a dispute in court. However, the neutral third party is appointed to review the case and make a final decision in favor of one of the parties. The arbitrator renders a decision that is generally binding and cannot be appealed. The process is more formal than mediation, although it is still less formal than litigation.
Tell me, I have a question. The arbitrator, normally act like a judge, right? And he
Yes.
makes final decision and it cannot be reappealed.
It's generally binding, but it doesn't have to be. And generally it can't be appealed. There are some circumstances where they can be, but it's very.
So once the arbitrator make the judgment, the decision, can you go back to the court system?
Really, the only way that I know of that you can do that is you have to make an argument that the arbitrator didn't do their job properly. It's not common.
dạng của mất sai cho nó arbitration do ý họ hãy lâu sẽ chỉ của chỉ bố mua với cái kia đâu cho nên của chỉ nhà một hãy lâu của sao để chỉ cố sĩ tụi nên rôn ra là do tụi arbitrator là tàu ở tàu chỉ lâu do ta mình kia này do tàu là sẽ chỉ lý tụi judge đâu ý tàu do tàu dân thầu tụi arbitrator là do tụ kế dư lâu sẽ chỉ ta đó trong lâu là sản yếu chỉ thua tụ arbitrator khó kế sẽ chỉ thở khó sẵn sàng hay lâu sẽ chỉ yếu hai tờ kế chạy đùa đi hai lâu mediation ta sẽ hai yếu chỉ trụ tổng đi một hai lâu sản thì giờ có nông đỡ về chỉ do thì lấy yếu ít bộ bác sĩ lấy yếu lý thì sẽ phải nhon được càng dạng càng trong blog ta chỉ phần đầu là như vậy bây giờ chỉ ta chỉ là như vậy thì không đâu.
So, one of the most important differences between mediation and arbitration is that an arbitrator makes a final decision on a case while the mediator does not. During the arbitration proceeding, an arbitrator listens to and considers all relevant information, then decides which party should win. Essentially, the arbitrator acts as the judge and jury. In contrast, a mediator doesn't impose a final resolution on disputing parties. The mediator acts as a middleman who facilitates discussions for possible settlement or resolutions and encourages the disputing parties to arrive at their own decision.
Cú xài cho lô đi mà lên là hành đó. Ít khó xích sợ đời mediation thì arbitration đời của chẳng chắn chỉ do tụi arbitrator sẽ chỉ đầu trong lâu để chỉ tụi mediator chỉ do tụi sẽ chỉ thầu hai lâu arbitration để tụi arbitrator nông thia sai cho tăng mạnh để sẽ chỉ sẽ lần từ dân tụi arbitrator để dòng lý tụi trả khó sợ đời tụi mediator thì chỉ do tụi của sẽ chỉ sẽ lần từ do tụi dân đặt trong blog tụi mediator do ít tụi nâng đoan ra của chạy lù ba ô tô còn mua cái xe học sinh
who normally appoint the arbitrator, the judge or
I believe the parties select.
okay, the
Yeah.
parties,
Yeah.
okay, in a mutual mutual agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. So nay wa arbitration cái là nay chỗ mediation sẽ.
bây giờ arbitration thiên
Okay.
tôi sẽ chọc lâu với hành gia thì chọc lâu family sinh đâu nó chỉ biết chùa cho nó do với hành mediation tôi sẽ lý giải nó chỉ biết
Okay.
nhân tận chụp lâu sẽ nếu lên không nên cái ban tế sẽ là bắt những này
Makes sense. Yeah.
When an arbitrator makes a final decision on an award, it is legally binding. Appeals are accepted only under circumstances. In contrast, mediation settlements are never legally binding unless both parties specifically request a binding mediation. In most cases, if disputing parties sign a mediation clause, they are required to participate in mediation, but the settlements or decisions remain legally non-binding. If the disputing parties wish to make their mediation agreement binding, the judge must sign a mediation agreement settlement.
cái chế thầu tổ arbitrator sẽ chỉ là cái sản do lý làm xứ do lóng cho cái sẽ chỉ cái do chủ do tăng mạnh chẳng chắn nhớ trong mediation cái sĩ học sáng đã có to chữ lâu cái sản chỉ cho chùa chỉ lý cái ở to chữ lâu do chủ nông sản lọt còn về trong cỡ đại cỡ sĩ học sáng phần đông the mediation cái ở to chữ lâu còn về thiên cho lù của cho ly tàu sâu chia hậu đại đỡ việc gì cho đóng tờ nó giữa xã lộng thọ từ dân tộc do ở tàu chữ lâu xã cò lộng chỉ tàu nó giữa trụ mua tổ ra lọt còn về.
Another difference between mediation and arbitration is in the ability to withdraw from the process. While a mediation agreement can require a person to participate initially, neither party is fully required to complete the process or find resolution because mediation agreements are not legally binding. Conversely, parties involved in arbitration can withdraw only before a final decision is made and only if no arbitration clause has been signed. Arbitration clauses require that all parties use arbitration to make a decision according to the stated stipulations.
Ít học cái shit sở gì là mediation thì arbitration cái do cái luật chủ hay long tu giờ hai tía mediation có ở to chữ lâu có hai cái sĩ học sáng là mediation do chỉ gỡ do tiền gỡ chỉ xã hạt lâu là gỡ do chủ thầu tư loại dân tổ thầu hai lâu arbitration chế do ít to do chủ chế do qua vấn đề của arbitrator do sẽ chỉ thiên do ở to chữ lâu chỉ tàu còn về tàu đón đỡ do ở lần còn về tàu cho đỡ hai lâu arbitration trên ở do tàu hai cả ta cho nên tàu tàu phần okay.
Arbitration is generally less flexible and more costly than mediation. There is a tendency in arbitration to split the pot, which can leave the parties involved feeling dissatisfied.
Hai lâu arbitration của sĩ sẽ hợp thiên nhiên đầu đùa hai lâu mediation thầu hai lâu arbitration về phần tàu có tàu chữ lâu chỉ tàu lý kế sản.
Alternative dispute resolution options can achieve efficient and effective results. However, because their inherent differences can affect the outcome of a dispute, choosing the right form of ADR for your situation is key to getting the most favorable outcome.
Ở giờ cái hai lâu nó dựa ba tàu có mua cái sĩ hậu sân dòng trâu ở tàu để sĩ vì cho sĩ sợ đỡ ở họ cái hai lâu nó vô cho chùa họ sĩ học sinh thầu kế sĩ chỉ sĩ trả giờ lên đợi vô tàu sải họ kế hải lâu có hồ dù tê tăng mạnh dù theo lý dầu xe đọc họ sẽ gì thì có là mà thật sự họ rồi between tụi này đi đến tiếp là
So the differences between an arbitrator and a mediator. So for an arbitrator is a judge of the dispute and provides resolution measures, which is binding on the parties, versus a mediator who is more like a facilitator who assists in developing options and achieving a mutually agreed resolution. He does not make a decision for the parties.
thì tụi chưa bữa cái sẽ là hai pro mediation theo tụi mình tụi sẽ chỉ là thì họ chưa bữa mà giờ hai pro sẽ chỉ là thì tụi arbitrator nên cho đi mình là tụi này xả nhưng mà là một lô chữ pro cho tay mình ta thì mình sẽ chỉ rồi đấy họ tụi mediator nó thì dòng đi tụi chạy lù của ba chữ gì có auto chữ pro sầu xe thiên xe học nếu chỉ là tụi chết gì đó ở tàu chụp lâu còn cỡ qua trời ly như này chị
So for this slide is explaining why should people choose the Hmong American Mediation Center in comparison to going to their own clan members or going to the court to solve their issues, especially pertaining to divorce cases. For the specific services that are provided by the specific center, in terms of cost, it is typically less expensive in comparison to if couples are going to court, for example, seeking out custody cases at court. The process in itself is also confidential, and overall, because it is concerning both of the parties and what they would like to use, couples or individuals who do use services here are more likely to be satisfied with the outcome in comparison to if going to court. You also have more control over the outcome because you're making your own decisions during the process, and it can help promote cooperation and communication between the two parties. The process in itself can help preserve and strengthen important relationships as well, and offers short-term and long-term solutions for families.
thì họ nói cho chị thật sai rồi thì sẽ được có
So this slide in itself is just explaining the various impacts that the mediation center, in terms of their activities, how impactful it is for the community in itself. There are a variety of ways that there are potential benefits of the American Mediation Center, as listed here, ranging from prevention to cost effectiveness to cultural preservation, self and self-governance, community leadership, promoting social cohesion, and being a cultural bridge between traditional culture with American law.
chứ không sẽ được to dạng
chỉ phải là
okเขาnói cho nhau ít kho và biết chữเขาnói ít kho thầu của một kháng sống nhóm tàu Minnesota State Bar Association cái lời sapo hạt tiền cái hải flow nó cái học culture theo liên cộng chỉ đồ chọc lót người cái hải mà được giáo lý chàng nó thì các thiên bom bản cái chỉ dụ nhau thay thế xong cái thiết chữ số
đi sẽ cho bây giờ
dạ sẽ cho bồi chọn in đỡ
để đi thành cáiตัวsản phẩm
thì cáiตัวtết cho nóตัวnhau tết cho nó cho xong ấp chỉ hiện tôi mà thì cái cho lô xong ấp phản năng cầu thì cái chỉ sĩ học thì tôi chỉ mất tuổi này sao mà tôi nên tra nó thì thọ bóng ở trong plau đó mà chị không có cho một trong hậu Okay, they talk about the don't blow low, not the legal process, you know, more the legal process.
So for this specific example, if the couple was just to go to the court, this is what they would actually deal with, such as properties and debt discussion, spousal maintenance if applicable, and child custody, such as who would be getting sole legal custody, joint custody, physical custody, and also parenting time and child support as well. And then in comparison, if they do not, or in addition to going to the court system, if they also use the Hmong traditional process, what they would be dealing with there is, depending on what is the reason for divorce, if we're talking about divorce, or the reason for the conflict issue, there might be a certain amount of money that needs to be sent back to the maternal side of the family. On some occasions, the wife's parents can also return part of the dowry to the husband, depending on reason for divorce or reason for conflict, and depending on how long the couple was married as well. The divorced husband, after the divorce, it is also possible that the wife may still be part of the husband's clan. This is also dependent on how long they've been married as well, such that in the future, if she passes, the clan may be responsible for her funeral arrangement and rituals. Traditionally, the wife and children belong to the husband's clan after a divorce, but during a divorce, all the children belong to their father's clan. So in the future, this is important because the husband's family or his clan or their clan leaders will be responsible for carrying out their wedding ceremonies and funeral rituals.
So, Tobin, this is the Hmong traditional divorce. The legal process, the Hmong traditional process. Yeah. Depend on the issue. Chị con đó giờ cái xin đó mà sao mà nó thì luật cho chạy tới cho nó nữa thì nó cho hay là chỉ bao đây muốn cho giờ hay nó khó thế này thì giờ xin đó đã sản hết chị mong khó chị khó thì giờ lên tới mong xin đó không mong chị đã mong là chị sao lên một process là bây một trời luật cho chạy là sao mong và là nó không sự là bây một trời để bây mong cho chạy chị con nó theo đi học đâu và
So talking about costs and fees, there is a sliding scale that's offered by the Hmong American Mediation Center depending on income. But it is a center, it's a nonprofit organization that is committed to making services that they do provide affordable as possible.
Lúc còn hồ nó mà thằng lúc họ bỏ được xin phòng như có chỉ cha có bé chỉ cha là một bác mong hả thì đây những số mình chỉ phí thiếu thì ta sẽ nói khá phí ta sẽ nói bé số này ít to chụp lâu nó nhập lâu của ít to chụp lâu nó nhập lâu của thì cho ô hậu lửa nữa bây giờ cho nó ra số tên là chỉ bé số lửa của bây giờ cho chúng mình khám là chỉ bé gì bắt đầu
chắc là cái case này là để cho nhân cái sẽ cho lôi income là chúng mình income là để bắt đầu nhà subsidy là để cái mình làm để phải để thay khỏi case này
nó nhưng là giá cả tới mua theo ta sẽ nói một chi thống một cam món là chỉ biết chỉ tao phản định ta chỉ thầu nó chỉ biết theo sau toàn tên là chỉ biết siêu chắc nó biết có không được một trò luôn cho trong phứ thiên nó được lúc họ phải lâu thiên chỉ biết mà đi chỉ nhận được cái nào
để cho để nhà này này discount vào 70% để chủ yếu để mấy ba là xí mà
tế ba là
này chỉ tao nhìn là còn là
chỉ cho mình đi được bây giờ hay bây bắt đó là cho mình đi được chỉ bây còn học bây chỉ mua bây nhà cho một thầy cho mình đi được chỉ bây ba cho chụp nó You have any question? Tony? No. Okay.
So this is for anyone interested, if they would like to contact this organization, this is the contact information for the director. You can reach them by this phone number or this email. Also, the American Mediation Center can be found at this specific address as well for the physical location.
จะนอนสุดเดียวผมมองดูน้องรักจีเทียอาจารย์เนี่ยก็ผมมองรักจีหันสิครับ
กูเจอกับใครเขานี่เลยเป๊ะก็คือพอเป๊ะกูประธานนั่นสิกูชอบว่าจะชื่อของที่ที่เนี่ยจะต้องขอชี้ที่เป็นอย่างบอกเราที่จะรับชื่อของจะว่าต้องตัวอย่างว่าจะมี So I will the president I will just how to control the organization to be maybe looking for some income to have the organization. So we are not mediators, so we cannot do that job.
อย่าเป็นก่อหอเนาะอย่าbridging the Hmong traditional to the court system เกิดจากใจHmong culture ที่ไปให้เนาะนะเจชีอีสดใจอ่อนดาสั่งละมั่วนะแต่ชีอย่าไปหายตาละเจจอนจัดจะข้อเลยอัดน้าเลยจะมองจอ culture นะเจยังไว้มันเรียนนอนเลยไปหายตาเจเลยยังลาป้อเดี๋ยวออกมองจอ culture ยังหน่อยเจเลยยิ่งชงเลยตั้งหลีต้องเปล่าปะตากบเปียตอนนี้แล้วหมดติ้งก็สุพรรณคนนะเอต้องตัวจะพาเลยเจจะน้อยอย่าพาเราเขาเชิญอย่าเราเที่ยวเจไปเขาน้อยอย่างที่เขาลองตัวไปมองเสด็จมาอย่างเขาน้อยเจไปจะตัวถักเคมันชีเราจะเนี่ยสิกเตี้ยน่าจะอย่างน้อย
lúc giờ lúc còn hộ nó mà giờ lúc còn hộ lúc còn hộ nó mà giờ trời bố bao thế nào mà dù giờ mình nói đi lúc còn hộ mẹ ai á cái gì mà lại chỉ lúc ra nó lo dạ lại chỉ lúc ra nó lo thế nào cái là cho người nào mà giờ mua positive result là cho cái tôi cho là tiền này là tiền thế nào nè trời 4 giờ mà trong lên nào thế nào cái giờ để cho họ liệu lên nào cái điều làกฎหมายที่เราสั่งที่thế nào thìอยากจะเนี่ยเขาเชียร์จะบอร์ดเชียร์จะประธานเชียร์จะstaff in a particular เนี่ยนะอยากเชียร์ชี้จ้างญาติเนี่ยจะก่ออย่างนี้ชิตาวแล้วมาอะไรเนี่ยเราต้องได้ชมเกิดมาคุยขวดนะขวดที่ลูกของแม่เรื่องเชียร์มันย้อนในตุ้มอย่างมีแม่ได้ใช่ไหมหรือยังรอหมดเลยจอเดี๋ยวเขาเนี่ยว้าเลยนี่ขวดเนี่ยนะมั้งชิตาว
อย่ามาหายใจไปถอดตัวน้องจะเขาเชิญเราเราหมดเราเขาnói như vậyเขาkhông được trả lời.
Chairman, was just saying out loud that I'm not a member of the organization, okay? But I just know this organization for a long time, for many years. I was just saying out loud that this organization seems to be a small organization, but they carry a lot of big task in the Hmong community. And over the years, they have solved many issues that even the court system would not be able to resolve. Yeah, so I'm very proud of the achievement thus far.
We can save some people that they are committing suicide. Those people commit suicide this year. They don't come talk to us. If they come talk to us, they will survive. Some people they when they come in they're crying. They don't want to live anymore. They want to die and commit suicide. And after they talk to us and they survive, they change their mind. They don't do something like that anymore. I think that's it for today. Yeah, thank you for your time and thank you for everyone.
Can you wait? I give you. I have a pin for Hmong Mediation pins for label pin. I will give you each one.
Okay. This one, check out the other top wash up piece in there.
Thank you. Watch out, I'm
Can I more?
Okay. Make you label pin before you go.
Okay.
So cool.
Thank you for your contribution.
nhớ trong đó là cũng như mấy tông sản hơn là nhân để xuống cho sản gia trong xe chấp lời nó cũng như tàu thả bên là lù hay cho của lũ nâng ở làm một sở kia cho tụ lúc còn họ mong American Mediation Center Inc. Cũng như ít tụ bắt hành trong ít sẽ cho bùa trong áp hạ cầu y cú tao là tại lúc mà mẫu tụ thơ chứ nó vì giờ mua bắt thành khổ xa theo bắt thành ra mày chứ ngờ giờ ở tụ tao muốn cho trên là phần sĩ thả thế chỉ cho mua lúc còn họ nó lò cú làm một tuổi lúc còn họ nó tao trâu lúc xong ở phà cầu y cho tao ở phà cầu xa cú theo tao so rồi ít trong này thì cái tên nó chả mong cú thọ hạt cho nên để lúc còn họ nó giờ lúc còn họ chảnh chăng giờ lúc còn họ ba trong cái tin này chỉ hai tu lâu tu lùa hai cho cái mua lúc này chỉ是học生là giờ xin đâu xin cho là giờ cho nhà hay là chỉ是học生bên mua bản sự giờ đào tạo giờ nên lần thứ sáu hay tiệt bên đào tạo là nên tôi cho bên chỉ dùng cái kỳ này để lúc còn họ chỉ ta lên đó giờ cho tới tôi mua hai bao trong đà sản họ America hay chỉ ta là sao mà sao là tôi bé cũng mà bên sự khó đầu trong là thia bé mà kiến rằng bé chỉ có lần thứ bé giờ lúc còn học hay tiệt chỉ giờ lúc còn học bé giờ chỉ tuần thì nên nhà li bé khó li America là bé ở đâu nên nhà thì ở li mong cho chạy cũng chịu bao luôn mong giờ li chạy thế giờ cũng giờ mong tới chỉ có hay tiệt bé cho chạy bé khó ít chỗ này thì cái tin này chạy mong hay tiệt ô lốm giờ là nhà trẻ là cha còn cái mà ở thọ sĩ hậu bé chỉ có ít đó từ nhà nên là từ đầu xe sẽ tôi có bé ba là sẽ béยังbaตัวnày sẽ đợi tí gì lúc nó cũngจะso là chỉ chúa bắt thành trả nhà thọ bắt thành cái mày là cho nó chạyตัวlúc còn hậu nó tua khó ai thông của hồ nè nhà nên là từ sẽ tàu cái ba nhưng màตัวđóตัวbé đầu xe lo giờ ba nè giờ nên là cũng dùng xe để ở châu thọ chờ nè chưa sang chập là lúc nào cũng tôi hay ở bên là lúc nào khi bút cho nên sẽ đỡ sự ở châu đâu
lúc nào như cũng tàu tua cộng lúc mong American Mediation nhà vụ chữ là lúc cộng họ là na sẽ plong đủ lúc cộng họ nó cũng yên bỏ thì giấy lúc cộng họ rong nè nhưng lên là tao nên tao xong lại tên nào lấy những ba tao cho địa chỉ cái tên chả mong họ nói cho thì mua tới mình họ và họ chế tên nào lấy những ba kho tên nào có lên nào cho tới mình lo là mua mê tên nào cho tới mình mê tên nào thì lo mua tên nào để lên nàyยังสนับสนุนนะโอเคเนี่ยเฉลี่ยจะเนี่ยต่อว่าต่อเจตนาเนี่ยฮะมัวปัญหาเนี่ยฮะว่าเจตนาหรอเนี่ยฮะกูต่อจั่วต่อเนี่ยวิชื่อเลยลูกของเขาHmong Mediationนะเลยป้าเนี่ยต่อนะเราต่อไปชงนะจะเนี่ยจีมองนะมัวตั้งเหมือนนะจะเรื่องเอาเลยนะเรื่องปัญหาเนี่ยครอบครัวแต่นะเดี๋ยวเลยนะมัวการชี้จ้าชี้เจมัวการชี้ต่อชี้ตัวแต่นะเนี่ยชาวเชดเดแต่นะเนี่ยมั้งเดี๋ยวเลยนะยาหายเดียในหัวจะลูกของเขานะลูกของเขานะสามารถยาป้าตัวนี้แต่นะชิชาเคยได้ตั้งเหมือนนะจะอยู่เชียแต่นะซื้ออินจีเจอยู่สาจิตเอาแต่นะเจตอนยาซื้อเต่าอยู่ที่ทำไรอยู่รู้เจแต่นะนะเดี๋ยวเลยนะติดต่อลูกของเขานะลูกของเขาเนี่ยป้าตัวนี้กูช่วยให้เลยนะเสียว่าจนต่อ
nhớ rồi ít chỗ là chỉ cái đường trang số lượng sốตัวเนี่ยกูอยากนบ่มัวนู่นเรากูโตจนแต่Hmong American Mediation นู่นเจกูโตใช้ลูกของเขาเนาะก็ลูกของเขาเนาะลูกร่วมมันจะยังตอนเต้วิชาคตาเป้วันนี้ย้อนจะลูกหลักเต้เนาะเจเป้จุ่มมวยลูกของเขาลูกปังใช้เหลือเป้เมาเต้เต้เหม่งจูเกอย่างนั้นน่ะจีซีหัวเส้นมิงตุ้มอย่างจีซีหัวเส้นหรือมันจะเป้เก๋คือยกคู่ต่อเดิมเมากันเลยเก๋ใจช่วยอยากช่วยจ้าเนาะอย่างนั้นกูต้องใช้ตัวใช้ลูกของเขาเนาะอีหาจนมีอีจงน่ะจีก็ดึงจางช่วยเล่นช่วยตัวเลิกตื่นสายเต่าเก็บบ้านล้านเจนเราก็ติดตัวลูกของเขาเนาะใหญ่ลูกของเขาจงเนาะจื้ออเมริกาช่วยเลิกช่วยเล่นช่วยตัวยิ่งปังยิ่งเชิดลูกของเขาเนาะลูกของเขาเนาะยิ่งมุกเละเห็นเลยมาท้อพอคุณช่วยจงน่ะจีก็ดึงจางยังไม่หมดเกี่ยวยซาจุบเลยจุดจีตัวโจลูกของเขาเนาะลูกของเขาเนาะอยู่ปังต่อแม่จีชาหลังยังมัวสิ้นดอกสิ้นตัวมัวโอเลโอเลโนเนอเขาเนาะใหญ่เขาจีจงโจไปมัวตัวมาลูกของเขาเนี่ยนอนเลยไม่ต้นจีลูกของเขาอยู่ปังต่อแม่เจอเลยก็ไม่รู้ชั้นอยากชั้นเชยเป็ดชาจิโมจุเก็บพอชีมันจะยังตอนเต้ย của họ lên nó xưa một lát chỉ nó là mẹ tí tôi lúc còn họ này ở trong đó
anh đừng nói cú giờ à phó mở bắt thang khoa sang nè cúตัวlúc còn hậu Hmong Mediation Center nó thầu cơ xong áp hạ có ý nữa lúc còn hậu nó do cú form tự cú để bây giờ cho foundation nhớ hậu thì xem mà cái cúตัวtôi nhận đầu thì cho hàng chỉ muốn sao mong thì bên này là không muốn chỉ bỏ cái thì ba chỉ tàu cứ tin nên trả thế thì cú theo lại cứ reside thì theo lại mỗi chỗ phong mai tông mà giờ lại lúc còn họ nó giờ ít lúc chuyển chính chapter vì thế cái lúc còn họ nó chưa nhớ bây là tao là oa thì sẽ lúc còn họ nó xin này phong bỏ yên bỏ rong cho bé oa mà cứ giờ lại nó cái máy theo lại cái một chỗ này phong bỏ để theo lại cái giờ này nó thì bây giờ chỉ trả lúc còn họ nó tự ba tuổi thì bao nhiêu nó vì thế mong nó mà ít khó là muốn đại mấy cái chứ ít xe bao lù ít xe chỉ bao lù để giờ này nó cứ bây giờ này là chỉ trả lúc còn nó là chưa thì bao tiền đồng được cứ bây cái tiền này trả mong để ít xe cứ bây chỉ trả đó lúc còn nó là để mong cho bao nhiêu của tôi ít xe cho hậu bên nó tôi mỗi xe muốn đã chỉ ta là tất cả là hậu bên nó bên cũng mua khó ta là chứ mà giờ này nó khi nó giờ nó bên tất cả tôi survey này nó mà giờ cứ bên tất cả tôi review bên tiền đầu tiên đó mà bên giờ cho cứ lâu như hậu thì cứ bên thế này cứ tôi sử dụng ở kia này nó giờ tôi review tiền đầu tiên đó mà cứ khi nó cũng thế hay bên là lù lên nó cho hậu nó cho cái tin này trả mong sẽ được theo lịch báo thì lúc còn họ nói họ muốn trả cho đi trả lúc còn họ nói họ cứ bé chú bao nhiêu nhân được cứ bé mong khá là bé mua cái dầu bé mua cái chim ta mà giờ lên đó nè ở châu
Hi, nhớ rằng của bên bên Berlin her của ấy tên thầy ba gặp Dr. Jablu nhớ tại University of Minnesota chấp phật chấp với chọn mong tại trên tại của ấy từ graduate student nhớ tại thế. Right now I'm currently completing my doctoral degree at the University of Minnesota, and I would like to invite everyone to learn a little bit more about the Hmong American Mediation Center in Minnesota. This specific mediation center is a bridge that is a cultural bridge between our Hmong culture and the American legal system. So for anyone who may find themselves with any sort of conflict, family conflict, especially for those who may want to seek out ways to, especially for couples, Hmong couples who would like to seek out ways besides the American legal system, as that can be very expensive. I would encourage you to seek out the services that the Hmong American Mediation Center provides. Not only is it less expensive in comparison to going to the court system in America, but it is also a way to bridge the cultural gap between going to the traditional route of the Hmong culture and also the American legal system as well. In addition, the Hmong American Mediation Center also provides other services such as for youth as well. So if anyone has any sort of family conflict that they would like to seek out services for, I would encourage you to seek out the Hmong American Mediation Center. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Nia Vuchu, and his contact information is listed here.
Thank you. You're welcome. Do you want to
ประธานทุกท่านตัดสายประธานก็ยังตัดสายก็จะใช้กับประธาน
Okay. Which one? This one? Maybe this one? Şey bu, bunun bloğuna. Give me another one.
ชอบอะไรมาชอบชอบแต่ชิ้นนั้น
cái vụ của ốc bên lửa
mà lo cái bây giờ cũng như một cái là cái đây cái chụp phim chồng sai bên
Did you see the email that I forwarded to you? I think yesterday.
yesterday cái đi đúng không
So I have a question. So last week I heard you say that you have class on coming on December 10th, right? So do you know the location yet?
We'll know this weekend.
The Hmong Council they said that is it possible they want to do class after in oh let me see
Yeah, see you again. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for helping, okay?
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I got something I got to do.
Okay.
so did I print it out
Yeah.
oh this one
bé nó cũng học về và thôi cho cô được bé cho tao lại cho anh chị tên gì thế này
This is separate from the individual mediators.
nó có thể
So I'll have to see what but it's separate from the individual mediators. For example, the company that I mediate, through my own company that I mediate,
yeah we made the same thing set up
cháu được có thể thay là cho tiền ăn của cháu có đây
Okay.
dạ cháu có và cái tiền tàu cũ là cho một sai chỉ cái này lo của cháu luôn này cháu lúc có hai kia lúc có thì có thể thoát ra một này có thể cả chỉ cho một cho em lên hay cho một cho đồ tất kế của nó cho một cho tất kế của công trâu này cho hai kia cậu cái lúc xe nó có tôi ba bên hôm nọ thế phụ có một cái kiểu của ta rồi thôi post Stephanie là bên đó
Một cái này đúng
à
rồi.
Stephanie à bên đó cháu cái
they have a class
Sao tao nói là cái không có
cái nó có cháu luôn cái chỗ chặt nó lút xe này xí rồi lúc còn nó từng cổ đi con này
no inside the building but the classroom the rooms
ok hai cân cổ đấy ok ok share thank you bắt đầu